Hi guys, how you doing? I hope you're all good. Hope you're all fired up for double game week 28, which is just around the corner now. Crazy. I have hit my wildcard button. My wildcard is active, and I will get into all of that jazz in just a moment. But just for you guys on screen at the moment, I have my points from last game week, so you guys can get a look at how I got on, and just, yeah, you can see that it didn't do too badly. I did do a video at the beginning of the week, my team selection, which did cover the points that I got and all of that sort of stuff. But De Gea 6 points, Cancelo 9 points, Kilman 2 points, Livramento, who's a bit of a kind of punt for me with his 8 points, Sonny, who came in as part of my -4, got 9 points. He came in for Salah, so I was up 9 points there. I played Trashard. Yes, guys, Trashard was still in my team. I didn't take the extra hit to get Rafinha as it was. Thankfully, I didn't, because it meant that basically I didn't take the hit for, you know, less points, basically. So thankfully, I didn't do that. Bowen 3 points, Fernandez 3 points. As I said in my video, a little bit happy in a kind of way that United didn't go so big last week, because I know a lot of people got Bruno in, and I kind of already got some good points off of him, so I wasn't really too fussed about that one. Dennis, the menace, with his 2 points. Jimenez with the shock benching. Ouch. Wasn't expecting that coming, and yeah, was a little bit kind of, oh, are you kidding me? So yeah, I was a little bit disappointed with that. And then more disappointing was Captain Veghurst. How many times have we been drawn into Burnley now? And and yeah, we've been sucked in, and we just think, oh, we've got this, we know what we're doing here, you know, this is ridiculous, and yeah, and we just go all in, and it turns out that that Burnley are just as rubbish an FPL assets as we all know that they are and can be. So really frustrating on that one. Guys, I'm going to test something. I'm going to play some music at the moment in the background. Let me know if you guys can hear that, because I want to see if I can get some music in the background for you guys. So ideally you guys will have some background music, but I am just testing this, so I don't really know if it's going to work. But I've been like trying it the last couple of days now, and not really been getting much luck in terms of figuring it out. So if you guys can hear, doesn't even show that it's coming through on the old monitor. Oh, that's probably why. Ooh. Okay, let me know if you can hear that. You can probably hear it coming through my computer more so than which may distract from me talking. But just let me know anyway. And if that's annoying, then let me know. If it's too annoying because you can't hear my voice, or it's messing with the quality of the sound, then just let me know. I just want to make the stream a bit more like fun and interactive and stuff. So yeah, let me know if that's okay. If it's annoying or it's too noisy or anything, just let me know, and I can always kind of cut it down again for you guys. Right, okay. So wildcard is active. Now let's talk you guys through basically why I decided to wildcard. And I'm going to have to pop over to this screen for that. So bear with me. And I'm going to bring up my Twitter. So this is FPL, the FPL Way website. This would have been my team this game week if I didn't wildcard. So I did the whole Salah, Bruno, hokey cokey situation. So I got off a Salah Son hokey cokey situation. So I got off of Salah last week, got on to Son, and then I pretty much as soon as the game week was over, or Liverpool played midweek, then I switched Salah back in for Bruno. So that was one transfer gone. Of course, if I'd wanted Chelsea defence, then I would have had to taken a -4 this week, and I would have done so by selling Rudiger to Webster. Now, this isn't a terrible team. It does mean that Trashard is still living rent-free, effectively, in my team. It didn't feel... I'm gonna just put this out there. It didn't feel massively strong. So it didn't feel like a team that was going to be able to compete this week. Dennis hasn't been particularly great. I know he'll get 2 bites of the cherry, but it didn't feel like I was loving it. I gotta admit. Love having Son in my team, but kind of was starting to feel like maybe Kane would be the asset to have going forward. Saka, I didn't mind playing Saka against Watford. In fact, I'm still, even on my wild card, a little bit kind of worried about benching him. So that's a little bit frustrating. But yeah, I mean, it was okay. It was in the Grand Live day, it's okay. The next game week, it would have looked like this. I would have had to take in... Oh, new subscriber. Thank you. Hang on 2 seconds. Welcome, Bud Sweat, to the Nymfam. Welcome. Thank you for subbing. Cool. So this is what next game week would have looked like. It would have been another -4, and I would have finally got rid of Trashard out of my team by going for somebody like Kulusevski. Again, not a terrible team. I would have got Matip in here for Rudiger, and it's simply because I really am desperate to have a Liverpool double defence next game week. I am really worried about Liverpool defence because there are so many people from wildcard 26 who have gone all in on Trent and Robbo, or Trent and Van Dijk, or Robbo and Van Dijk, that next game week was looking a little bit scary in terms of not owning a Liverpool defensive asset. So that's why I would have gone Matip next game week, and then it would have left me with something looking like this. Again, I would have been carrying for that defensive spot and selling Matip onto Tini. I don't think this is terrible. It was good enough. I probably would have ended up taking a -4. So that's, when I factored all of that in, this team effectively would be basically a -12 over the next 3 game weeks. And that's when I weighed up what a wild card would have looked like in comparison. So this is effectively my wildcard draft. Anyone interested in using this planner, it's the fplway.com. Make sure you go check them out. Maybe Nathan can chuck a link in the chat for you guys. But yeah, it will be live properly for you guys at the beginning of next week, I believe. So make sure you go get signed up, all of that jazz, because, you know, they're really good guys and they've been working really hard on this, and it has a lot of other features that a lot of other live planners do not have. So yeah, make sure you go check them out. This is what my wildcard would and does pretty much look like. So by wildcarding this week, it meant that I got, as you can see, I've taken a -32. So it's not like I've just taken out a few players. I've taken out lots of players, basically. So De Gea's gone, Dubravka's in, given an extra double game week player for this week. And also potentially next game week if I decided to wildcard. Cancelo at the moment stays. Diaz is out injured. 6 to 8 game weeks. Diaz is out. I don't think that has much effect on whether we should be worried about having Cancelo in our teams, though, if I'm honest. I think City have so many great stand-ins that, you know, that Cancelo can hold his own. As we know as well, Man United can ship goals. As somebody who's owned De Gea for some time now, I know that they can ship goals, and what do we know Cancelo can do? We know he can score goals. So I'm not keen to get rid of him. I do have time between now and the deadline to consider whether or not to stay with him. But at the moment, he's still in the team. Kilman's not going anywhere. Rudiger obviously would have been coming in for a -4, but this way I get him for free. Trent stays. Okay, this is now where it gets a little more like where I've taken my transfers effectively. So Rafinha comes in for Trossard. Finally, guys, finally, he's out of my hair. He's gone. I sold him. I feel liberated. I may just have bought a terrible player for another like terrible player. However, I somehow feel like it's unlikely that I could get any worse than what Trossard was, to be honest with you guys. So he is gone. He is out of my life. And I am feeling free. And I actually genuinely considered I might even still make a video about it. So yeah, he's gone. Ramsey is in, and he has come in for, who's he come in for? Do you know, I can't even remember my team now. Probably Bowen, which has freed up a bit of cash. Bowen was a hard sell. I really had to think about whether or not to basically keep Bowen in my team. But it ultimately came down to the fact that I would have benched him this week, next game week, and only have kept him really for game week 30. And it was that extra change in my mind that ultimately really made me help push the wildcard button and activate it. Because yeah, it was just like good times, time to think about moving him on. You know what? I had 0.3 in him, so it, like I said, it was a tough sell, but I think by the time we get around to potentially West Ham being needable again in our teams, then I think he'll probably be nearer the 0.2 mark to get back, and that is, you know, that's nothing here or there really. Kulizvetsky then came into my midfield for Son. So I wanted basically to... Oh, I hate selling Sonny, guys. Like, honestly, like, my head selling Sonny was like, oh, no, I don't want to. But I have been watching Kulu now for the last few game weeks, and the guy is immense. Like, he is so good. And I did the watch list with Kylie yesterday for Fantasy Football Scout, and I looked at the stats at Moura. So, like, basically just weighing up Moura and Kuluvetsky, and they've got the same amount of goals and assists, where in something like Kulusevski has scored them within 333 minutes and Lucas Moura in like 1,500 and something. So I would like to think that Kulu has nailed down his spot. Now, of course, Moura is there, so there is some rotation risk. I think it'd be more like Kulu starts, and if the manager feels he needs a bit of a rest, he'll pull him then. However, even if he doesn't start, I don't feel terrible about him coming on because he's so good. I just feel like, yeah, he'll be brilliant. Now, the one little panic I've had today with this wildcard is basically the fact that I've seen how highly owned Coutinho is. So Coutinho's over 20% owned, which shocked me a little bit. I wasn't expecting that. And he is at the moment topping the captaincy polls. So with that in mind, I'm a little bit nervous to not own Coutinho, but I'm kind of hoping. Ramsey scored 2 goals against Leeds last time. Now, we don't know what the new manager's going to be like. We don't know what the new manager band's going to be like. We don't know if... We do believe that he's a very, very similar manager to Bielsa in terms of he's a very attacking manager. They've basically brought in a like for like. So with that in mind, you'd expect it to be much the same from Leeds. We'll score 1 more goal than you, as opposed to defend, defend, defend. If that's the case, that makes me a little nervous not to own Coutinho. However, Ramsey did score 2 against Leeds last time, so hopefully, yeah, he can be an option. Then, of course, I've made the switch to put my funds up top. The main reason for going Kane, besides his recent form, is just that he is a natural segue to somebody like Vardy. Should Leicester's fixtures look really great down the line, they get doubles, etc., etc. It always somehow feels easier to be able to drop a forward and invest that money back in midfield than the other way around. 2 exactly the same moves, but it just always feels easier. And I'm not sure why, but it does. Jimenez keeps his spot. Honestly, I am not sure about this. So I've had Jimenez for a few weeks now, and he's been good. The benching last week made me a little nervous. Won't lie to you guys. And Hwang has looked amazing for Wolves, and he's much cheaper. So I have been tempted a couple of times to switch Jimenez to Hwang and bag a bit more cash. I haven't done it yet, and I probably won't, just because of Jimenez's percentage owned now. And I think if they'd still largely been under the radar, then I may have gone for the punt on Hwang and gained myself a bit more cash off of Jimenez. Then, as you can see, I have Brozier, and he is somebody that, as another reason why I wildcarded, because I don't have any Southampton attack in my original team, and I just like the look of Southampton for the next couple of game weeks out the other side of 30. So Ambrosia scored a worldie, in the cup when he came off the bench. So yeah, so that was what my wildcard looks like currently. Of course, I'm a little bit not feeling great about the fact that I have White on the bench currently and Saka on the bench and Kulusevski, who could all score happily. It's just that I've loaded up a little bit on my double game week players. The moment captaincy is on Salah. However, Salah is the one like the captaincy, and Salah is like the one thing I'm really kind of like my head is going a bit nuts over. Also, I think that I may switch White to Davies of Spurs, only for the simple reason, as I'll explain what my plan is now for the next 3 game weeks. By doing that, it helps me a little bit down the line, and I'll explain mine just a second. So this is what this wildcard team looks like next game week. So it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 double game week players. Clearly, I have White and Saka on the bench at the moment. If that's Davies, then it'd be Davies and Saka. I am going to play next game week based on the form of this game week. So if Jimenez looks poor, Brozier looks poor, straight out, Davies, Saka in. Saka may well come in for one of those single game week forwards anyway. If Rafinha looks bad under the new manager, then there's another, there's another reason. Probably will play Ramsdale, I think, ahead of Dubravka. But this basically just gives you an idea of what I'm thinking of. So the idea here is absolute madness. So I've left enough money in my bank last game week, as you can see, 1.6, to move Rudiger to Robertson. Now, Chelsea have Newcastle. It's not a terrible fixture. If I feel like Rudiger is unsellable after this game week, I may reconsider this, and I may consider selling, I don't know, maybe that Davies spot onto Matip to get my second Liverpool defender that way. I may leave it and invest my money potentially. At the moment, I have enough money, or will have just enough money if I go with Davies, for Rafinha to Jota. So what this wild card is giving me next week that I didn't have before in my previous team is flexibility. It's giving me cash in the bank, and it's giving me flexibility to decide whether I'm going to go double Liverpool defence, whether I'm going to go with Liverpool attack. I can roll a transfer into game week 30 if I want to keep Rudiger, and it be easy to play Davies, for instance, or White over Rudiger, and drop Rafinha to the bench for Saka. Alternatively, I can bench boost this team happily, but I'm going to... Oh, bye FIFA, thanks for popping in, buddy. Alternatively, I think it just gives me a lot more options than what I had previously. Could I have muddled through to 30, 31 and not wildcarded? Yes, absolutely. The problem I have is that I muddled through last game week. Anyone's been watching my stream now every week on a Friday around this time, you'll know that last game week I had a very solid plan, and the thing is, it's been a very muddling through kind of plan. So, I could have muddled through again, but the problem with muddling through is this. The week before I muddled through, I took a -4. It worked out really well, and I went up in rank. Last game week, I muddled through, took a -4, and I went down 10k. So there's pluses and minuses to muddling through. Just to put this into perspective, using my free transfers over the next 3 game weeks, I would be taking a -12. A -12 currently for me would put me outside of the top 100k. So that is a reason why I've basically gone, I'm going to attack these next 3 fixtures. The other thing that I feel like is that we know now already what the fixtures are going to be like between now and the end of the seasons. We don't know what's going to happen in 33, we don't know what's going to happen in 36, but we pretty much know the narrative of the teams that have lots of fixtures to be rescheduled. Arsenal have lots of schedules to be refixtures. Aston Villa, Chelsea, we know these teams need to play their extra games. So as long as we're covering these players in our wildcard, or we know how we can get back to these players on our wildcard, there's no real reason why we can't be considering using it now. My main reason why I may be pushed, I would like to keep my bench boost for later in the season for that 33 and that 36, but also using my wildcard now, I'm saving a free hit, because if I had muddled through, I would have been tempted to free hit next game week. So that's, this is the other reason for wildcarding now. It means I get to carry my free hit forward and my bench boost forward. That has, it's kind of made me really think about whether I would bench boost next game week. At the moment, if everyone performs, as I'm hoping they will do this game week, then I will be very tempted to bench boost next game week. the main reason will be because of the second goalkeeper more than anything else. Because if I don't bench boost next game week, I'm not sure I'm going to be in a situation because of Dubravka where I'm going to have a second goalkeeper, especially a second goalkeeper that doubles down the line. So that's just something I need to think about. However, I could end up with a bench of like Cancelo, Robbo, and some, you know, really good midfielder, all with double game weeks down the line, and a second, you know, and Dubravka, for instance, with a half decent fixture. In fact, let's have a quick look at Newcastle's fixture in 33 and 36 as they stand. So currently, he has Leicester 33. It's not terrible. But Man City in 36. So yeah, just something obviously to think about. And obviously he does have the Crystal Palace fixture to be rescheduled. So maybe, just maybe, one of those could slip into one of them. So there is potential. There is potential that he gets another double game week. And there is, you know, there is potential that you know, bench boost is usable down the line. So yeah. And that's what this would then look like for game week 30. Bearing in mind, I am considering Davies for White. That would allow me a couple of options. I think it potentially allows me to think about whether or not I want to get Tierney in for Robertson or Trent, because maybe by then I'll have decided whether or not to go with Rob or Trent long term. I think the good thing about getting Robertson and Trent next game week is it gives me another 3 games basically between now and 30 as to which I'd want to keep long term. So the other thing that slightly scares me about going for both of them though next game week is basically that I'll get them in and then I'll be too scared to drop one of them, because I will be like, the second I drop one of them, yeah, that's endgame. You know, they're the ones that are going to pop off. But I do hold a bit of trepidation with Robertson in terms of he has Tsimikas as that backup. So I think it does allow for that rotation to sneak in, and then with a double game week, do we see, you know, Robbo losing his place to, you know, to Tsimikas, which is why I think rather than going all in and Robbo and Trent right now on the wild card, it allows me to leave that money in the bank. And then if I get any news ahead of, you know, the double game week and all of that jazz about Robertson, Matip can come in instead, Virgil van Dijk could come in instead, or Rudiger can stay, you know. So it's not awful. I have people on the bench who I happily play over other people. You know, Rudiger will have Newcastle, so he won't be a terrible play if I want to keep hold of him. And yeah, I don't think there's anything terrible there. A lot of people asking, time to get rid of Cancelo with Diaz being out. For me, Cancelo is just such a good attacking threat that even if City are a little bit more defensively unstable, then you'd like to think that Cancelo could still easily score something against a pretty poor defensive Man United side, a Crystal Palace side that have conceded plenty of goals this season. Granted, he doesn't play in 30. There is the opportunity to get Tierney for him now, potentially, and just go Davies and Tierney. And just know that I've got 3 defenders in game week 30. But, you know, it doesn't always... Oh, is Matip also unavailable? I missed that. If that's the case, that's a little worrying. Because I probably, well, Virgil van Dijk can come in, so it's not a big problem. It's not awful. Let's have a look. Oh, yeah, he's flagged. Illness expected back the 12th of March. Oh, okay. So is that before the... Oh, so he's expected back for the double. So it says illness rather than hamstring. Oh, hi John, welcome. Hi Mike. Hi Baz, hi Nathan. Hope you're all good. I think I saw Dan in the chat earlier. Hey Dizzy Dory and Kieran. Hi guys, hi Blair. Hope doing good. And Quarry and Matthew. Welcome guys, thanks all for joining me. If you're enjoying the stream, please do pop a like and subscribe. What are we at for likes? 13. Let's try get 20 likes. Come on, you guys can do it. You guys can do it. So yeah, hey. I mean, oh, is it Diaz with the hamstring injury? Okay, yeah. So I'm going to be honest with you guys. I don't see Chelsea keeping masses of clean sheets this week. You all know we're selling Weghorst, and you all know he's going to bang against Chelsea. And as for Norwich, they haven't exactly not been scoring goals recently. I mean, they haven't exactly been tucking them away, but they have managed to stick a couple past teams that we have thought, oh, they'll easily beat. So I'm not that massively keen on the double up on Chelsea defence. And I know that's completely like left field for a lot of people, but I'm not feeling it. And I would love to go for James. I would love to risk it on Alonso. Just for that attacking threat, but I only really feel safe with Rudiger starting. I mean, yeah, I was watching the Fantasy Football Scout kind of team news before this, and I think it was Nearly was saying those type of players he thinks getting 2 games out of the next 3. So it's just how much you think you're getting in those 2 games out of the next 3, whereas you'd like to think Rudiger is nailed for the next 3 games. If I wasn't going Rudiger, I'd go Thiago Silva. Just putting that out there. Much cheaper. Spoke to Elizabeth Helenek. She's really good with the Chelsea team. She knows her stuff. And she's like, Thiago is just as nailed as Rudiger. So when you kind of bear that in mind, then savings. Raf currently having the armband, says Ave. Oh, you know what? I just do not know what to do. So if I go to my, I'll go to my... So yeah, do go check out the guys at the FPL Way. This is their planners. Just before I head on over to the official site, which I will do now. So yeah, I genuinely do not know who to captain, guys. Not gonna lie to you. I have it on Salah currently. Hi Matthew. Yeah, I have it on Salah currently. Do you know what? I'm so conflicted because Salah is at home. He's against West Ham, fighting for the title. I see goals, right? Let's just say Salah blanks. I know, I just said the unthinkable. But let's just say he does. Oh, it's going to be a long game week. It's going to be a really long game week with so many others on double game week captainers, on, you know, Reece James's or Rudiger's or Rafinha's or Coutinho's or Jimenez's, right? So, I want to know actually who is the last game of the double game week. Leeds, Aston Villa, or well, actually, they're all roughly the same time on Thursday. Okay, I'm kind of tempted to go Jimenez. Is that mad? Think I'm mad? It's slightly mad, isn't it? Jimenez or Rafinha. I just wish we'd got one game under this new manager before this double game week, because Rafinha's on everything, isn't he? He takes at the moment anyway, he takes the corners, he takes free kicks. He's so attacking. Will he be doing all of that underneath this new manager? That is the question. And then Ramsey scored 2 against Leeds last time out. Maybe he's a potential captaincy shout if most people are going Coutinho. Oh, John says Coutinho captain for me with Kane vice. Yeah, I don't have Coutinho currently, so I can get to Coutinho. I can't get to him from Ramsey. No, I can't get to him from Ramsey. I would have to go via Kulu or Rafinha. The problem then is, who do I bench? Like, it's already, at the moment, it's already not great benching Saka and Davies/White. I've still got Livramento in this team. Simply just because I got money in him, and because I'm not really sure who it is I want in that spot. But that will be Davies or White, so please don't think that he's actually going to be in my finalised wildcard team. In fact, you know. So I could put Coutinho in instead of Kulusevski. But you know what? Going next game week without 2 Spurs in that double and not having Son scares me. I won't lie to you guys, it scares me. And I quite like the fact that I'll have some cover. And you know what, I would do the whole Coutinho this week with the move back to Kulu next week, if not for the fact that I really think I'm going to want Robertson next game week. Let's read some of your comments. Akif says, I kick Cancelo out because I don't have budget and only 102.8. Thoughts on Willock Nim with the double. Yeah, I really like him. And if it wasn't for the fact that I'm trying to cover game week 30 a little bit, I would have him on my wild card, I think. He would also be an outside captaincy shout for me, I think. That's nuts. That's bat shizzle for you. Thiago's a Rolls Royce, but he's old. Needs a rest. With injury problems in Leeds, Rafinha is overloaded in pitch. Do you mean he's guaranteed to start, or? Oh, you mean go for Dan? Okay, go for Dan James instead. Don't know. I don't know. Ramsey or Rafinha captain for me. Yeah, Chris. Yeah, Mike, absolutely. I'm not crazy then. Since 25th of September, Chelsea have only kept 6 clean sheets in the Premier League. So that is why I will not be captain Rudiger. Just, yeah, for that kind of alone. The last time Man City had UCL match midweek, KDB plus Cancelo were benched. Could possibly happen again, but with Diaz out, who knows? That's a great shout, Nathan. Ooh, you've got me thinking. See, this is going to be dangerous now, isn't it? I'm going to start to look at who I could get for that money, and if it's Robertson, which I don't think it will be. Oh my god. Oh, lads. Lads. Who would I bench, though? Oh, I guess I'd just play him where I'm playing Cancelo. Who do Liverpool have this week? West Ham. That's not an easy fixture. Not an easy fixture for Liverpool. I don't think they'll get a lot of goals past West Ham. It would mean I could keep Rudiger long term, though. But then, if Chelsea are that bad at keeping clean sheets, do I want Rudiger long term? No, Nathan, it's brilliant. Honestly, I'm glad you put it in the chat because it's, you know, it is handy knowing this stuff. It really, really is. I mean, you won't just be helping me, you'll be helping other people. Oh, the only problem is, lads, I will not be having Coutinho. I will not be having Livramento in this team, so I won't have the exact cash. But if I went back to Kulu in midfield, I would have enough cash. And I'd have money in the bank. But do I know I definitely want Robertson? I could go for Jota next week if I feel like he's a must. Give me some flexibility. This wouldn't give me any flexibility. It does take out Coutinho. Whoa. Shall I make this a bit bigger for you guys to see? Bear with me a second, guys. And go live editing for you. There you go. Kieran, do it, Nim. What am I doing? What am I doing? Am I doing... See, it would be... I'd have to keep Livramento, but then I would be... I'd be... How many players? I'd have... Ramsdale. Kilman. Davies. Saka. Ramsey. Rafinha. Coutinho. Kane and Jimenez. I'd have 8. No, 9. 9 players if I kept Livramento in that defensive spot. I just feel like I will want Cancelo. That's the only thing, like... Oh, Linesh, great point. I say City is already through to the UCL next round. Cancelo will be rested in the UCL versus Sporting. That is a great shout. The Lazy Gardener is currently benching TAA and Robbo this week. It is painful, yeah. Amen. Akib says he got 16 points from Brownhill. Nice. Katonga, who do I start between Ramsdale or Foster, Saka or St. Maximum? Well, I've got Ramsdale, and currently I'm starting Dubravka, so I'm going for a double game week player over the single game week player. I'd probably take a punt with it in the goalkeepers, because you'd like to think a clean sheet for Ramsdale plus a couple of bonus points is what, you know, maximum 10. You'd like to think potentially that a double game week goalkeeper could potentially get 2 clean sheets, potentially. Maybe one with a couple of bonus which would match them, then a couple for playing the extra game. So I just think it's always just worth... It's very unlikely that they score or get an assist. So I always see, like, if you've got a double game week keeper and they're going to start both fixtures, and you may as well take a bit of a punt on playing them. Saka or St. Maximum's a little bit more difficult because... I think there's some confusion over whether St. Maximum is actually, like, properly back. Either way, he's coming back from injury, so I don't know how much he gets game time-wise. I've got Saka on my bench and I hate it. I hate it. I've got no Arsenal players playing this week. I'm playing against Watford, for crying out loud. I mean, that's asking for trouble. Saka could easily score a brace against... Watford easily, and he sat first on my bench currently. It's the only thing about the wildcard is it just makes your bench look like Lewis Hamilton compared to I don't even know who. Like, Bob the taxi driver. Captain Salah, Rudiger or Rafinha, either Salah or Rafinha personally. Chris, Diaz and Aki out at the moment means less centre-back options at City. Atharva, I think I've said that right. Is an 8-point hit worth it to replace Dalot, Gray and Ronaldo to Reece James, Ward-Prowse and Jimenez? Can you get away with doing 2 of those this week? Can you get away with going Ronaldo to Jimenez and Dalot to James / Rudiger? If you can, I'd probably meet yourself halfway on that one. It's not that I don't think Ward-Prowse won't do well, because I think he could be a sneaky shout this game week, but Keith says, by the way, anyone taking Neto or Dodonka? It's not that I don't want to take one of them, Makib, it's that they take a midfielder spot. Oh, new subscriber. Did I miss one? Sorry guys, 2 seconds. Welcome Makalovich to the Nymfam. Thank you very much for the sub. Thanks guys. If you're enjoying the stream, then please do like and subscribe. Your name should pop up on the chat, and when I'm doing the videos it will also pop up down here as well in my video bits. So yeah, it's kind of cool. Matthew, Nim, everybody's jumping on double Chelsea defence, but if you remember the start of the season when we all did that, they never kept that many clean sheets. So if I was going Chelsea, I would only be going 1. Absolutely, Matthew. Bang on, buddy. Only 1 for me. My biggest choice now, I think, in defence, two spaces, whether to put White in for Davies, of which I feel like I'll be much happier benching Davies, to be honest with you guys, and whether to keep Cancelo or whether to keep the money in the bank for Robbo for next game week. So, hey Nuclear, hey buddy. Keep, can we win EO battle? Cancelo's still owned by 4. Oh, ouch. Ouch. 43.8% of managers, guys, still have and will still have Cancelo in their teams simply because they will have other problems this week. Many other problems this week. Does it give us an advantage if he doesn't do anything? Of course it does. Of course it does. But does it also hurt us if he does something? Hell yes it does. Ooh. I just hear another. Oh, thank you, Mohammed. And thank you, Ajish. Thank you so much, guys. Welcome to the Nymfam. Thank you all so much. Much appreciated. Hi, Harry. Hope you're well, buddy. AG, can someone please help? Oh, that's Mohammed. Oh, an FPL Fonzie. Thank you very much. Welcome, buddy. AG, can someone please help? Vegas or Jota? Considering Jota may not play? Question mark. Do you mean to start in your team? Have you got both and you're trying to decide which one? I think that's probably what you're asking. I think I'd take a punt on Jota starting. I mean, have Vegas first on the bench in case he doesn't. Also, I just have a sneaky feeling Vegas is going to end up getting something against Chelsea. I don't know why, it's just a feeling. Hoo-hoo. But I just feel like it's going to happen. Genuinely. Can you imagine? Makalovich, hi. Would you do Cucurella, Laporte, Bowen, Foden out for James, Rudiger, Havertz, Rafinha for -12? No, that's way too much Chelsea for me. Are you planning on free hitting in 30? Because you need to consider that for a start, because Chelsea aren't playing in 30. Also, I don't like double Chelsea defence. So maybe, can you do, again, I always think when you look at a multitude of hits, try and think to yourself, can I do a couple now and cover some of those players? So can you sell Laporte, although I really wouldn't want to, or Cucurella for Rudiger or James? And can you do, you know, Foden out for Havertz or Rafinha, whichever one you prefer more? Try and bring it back down. I would probably go, would I go Rafinha over Havertz? See, you've got to think long term as well. Oh, AG, thank you. Welcome to the Nymfam. And, ooh, Robinho, thank you very much, guys. Very much appreciated. Yeah, it means so much. Honestly, it does. So, ooh, Keith says he's having a feeling that Pulisic is going to go big this week if he plays. Could very well do. Captain America. Absolutely. Ajish, hi Nim, I joined late. Are you bench boosting in 29? Maybe. I think is the short and long answer, Ajish. I want to see the form of my players, excuse me, this week before deciding whether or not to use my bench boost the next game week. If I feel like the form of some of my single game week players, i.e. Brozier, Jimenez, undroppable, then I may just go ahead and use it, because at the moment I know I've got that second goalkeeper. But I'm tempted to hold it. I think it may depend on how much of a boost I also get this week off of wildcarding. If I get a really good boost, then I may feel the need just to protect rank next game week and not really push it and try and gain a bit later when other people will be using their chips, those that have held off. Nuclear says, I still went double Chelsea defence since they are a big team with a solid defence and will have more doubles coming up with more good fixtures to the rest of the season. Yeah, I mean, the other thing here I was considering doing, just for balance, is I was considering putting Thiago Silva in, and then next week moving Rudiger to Van Dijk. Obviously, it would depend on budget if nobody's gone up or down, but I would only like to think the Rudiger's more likely to go up than what Van Dijk is. So I was potentially thinking of doing that, and having Thiago and Rudiger for this game week. That is something I can do. It also does allow me to, get another Liverpool in next game week, but it doesn't allow me to get Robertson. And I think it is very much that I am concerned to not own Robertson next game week. I do worry that he will be rotated. Even if he just plays one game in a double game week and just comes on for a couple of minutes in the other, he just looks so dangerous. And compared to Trent this season, stats wise, the last when was the last time Trent did anything? Trent last returned for us game week 22 in terms of attacking returns. Robertson has got 5 assists in that time. So yeah, it does concern me. Maybe I'm getting too, you know what it is, my mini league rival has Robbo and Trent since he wildcarded a couple of game weeks ago. That's probably what's terrifying me more, is that he'll get further away from me and I can't catch him. But yeah, doing this spreads my cash out more, and it doesn't allow me the option to get Robbo easily next game week for a hit. It also means that I'm one less for game week 30 in defence, bearing in mind that I'm assuming that Davies and White keep their spot. Well, White definitely, but I'm assuming Davies keeps his spot in that Spurs team. So I do see what you're saying, Nuclear. I almost feel like they're wanted for this game week, but I almost feel like you can go without them then until after game week 30, and that's why I'm not sure I want to double up on them. And again, I am not too sure they keep a double clean sheet. I'm just not sure that they do. AG, because Jota may come on as sub. Jota's played right, he's fit, so it's just whether Thiago Silva starts. I don't know that. I don't know. I think he has played alongside Thiago before. I'm pretty sure he has actually. Did Klopp allude to anything in his presses? I don't think I saw anything in the presses today about it. I think go with your gut, AG, on this one. Genuinely, I think that Jota could be a sub. I also think that St. Maximin will be a sub. I don't think they're going to rush St. Maximin back from injury, especially when Newcastle have done okay without him. So it's just weighing up which one you feel will get you more in the minutes that they play. So, yeah. Linesh, -12. Fernandez to Mount. Reguilon to Rudiger. Bowen to Willock. Elise to Ramsey. Peters to Target. Plus bench boost. Thoughts? I think if you're going to take a hit that big, then you definitely want to be bench boosting off of the back of it. I do feel like there will be guys 33 and 36 down the line could potentially be massive bench boost material game weeks. So I'm not sure we should be getting too kind of caught up in potentially using our wild cards like right now just because we can. I don't see anything wrong with Fernandez to Mount, although if City are now struggling in defence, could make it a bit easier for somebody like Bruno to be scoring past City. Reguilon to Rudiger, yeah. Bowen to Willock. If that's freeing you up some cash, then maybe are you free hitting in game week 30? Because if not, then Bowen plays where Willock doesn't. Elise to Ramsey, don't mind that shout. Ramsey again plays in 30 and doubles, so yeah. Again, I would say, unless you definitely want to use the bench boost this week, I would say minimise that, bring the hits down and do a couple of those, which I think you can do without feeling like you need to take the money from somewhere else. I think, yeah, then I think minimise those hits and just play the best game week you can. Mohammed said, I am torn between removing De Gea, Foden and Edouard to Mendy, JWP and Jimenez, or Sarr, Mount and Che Adams from -4, which looks better. I think I prefer the second option. Oh, Mendy though, ooh, yeah. See if I didn't own Ramsdale already and had have done for a long while and therefore have money in him, a fair bit of it, I would be seriously considering Mendy as my goalkeeper. The other thing, obviously, is that blank game week 30, so I'd have to match him with somebody who plays that game week 30. Harry, who are you captain this week? Absolutely no idea. It's the one thing I do not know, which is not great when you've just wildcarded, is it? I feel like I'm pretty set with this team. I am just deciding on these 3 spots now. These 3. Cancelo, Thiago and Kuluvetsky. This could be Coutinho. But I obviously will need to go Davis in defence. And then he would be a captaincy shout. But I mean, since they've been playing Ings and Watkins up top for the last 3 game weeks, Coutinho hasn't had much of a look in. And they won against Brighton 2-0 playing in that formation. So I'm not really sure why you would change it off of the back of that. It's just I don't think I want Coutinho in my team. It would simply just be because he's 21% owned and a lot of people are considering captaining him this week. At what point do I go, I need to play my own game? And I know that Kulu is a punt. I know he is. And I know that I could lose out to Moura, but he's a real gut feel for me. Like Jimenez was a gut feel for me a couple of game weeks ago, and now everyone wants him. So I don't know. I really don't know. Sorry, Harry. I'm stuck this week. I think I've whittled it down. If I'm sticking with this kind of formation, with keeping Kulu, then I think it's between Jimenez and Salah. It's on Salah currently. I'm tempted to go with Jimenez for the double. I feel like I will want somebody captain in that Thursday, in those Thursday fixtures. I think if Liverpool were playing on Thursday, which I know they're not because they're not doubling, but if they were, then I'd be much more inclined just to leave it on Salah. But I have this thing that obviously if Salah were to blank, then you've got to wait all the way until Thursday for everyone who's captained a Coutinho, say, or a Rafinha or Jimenez, or even a Reece James. You got to wait to see whether you're going to survive the game week when it comes around to them. Although I do see Salah scoring past West Ham, it doesn't worry me that he's playing against West Ham. It's just more so that I'm a bit like a moth to a shiny light for a double game week. Annoyingly, like Veghurst last week. I should just learn my lesson and leave it on Salah, really, shouldn't I? Nuclear, Fraser or Willock? I don't have the money, so I stuck with Fraser. I'd prefer Willock, but I don't think there's much in it in terms of if you're gonna, say if you're gonna be able to get one. No worries, MC. Nuclear's got rid of all of his Wolves assets in a wildcard draft. Interesting. They have been poorer in defence recently. Literally, since nobody could just leave me with my Wolves defence, could they? Everyone had to pile on and make the ship really heavy the last 3 game weeks. I was fine. I was happy there. You didn't have to join me. Matthew, Nim, if you're unsure about a transfer, then you should stick with the person you've got, as it's not worth worrying about once you transfer them out. Yeah. It's true. It's true. I just gotta hope, I guess, if Coutinho goes big, I just gotta hope the Ramsey kind of aids him, I suppose. Keeb, I'm currently 33k ranked and Cancelo EO is 91.03 there. Imagine he scores a goal against Man United. You'd be pig sick after selling him, wouldn't you? Wouldn't you just? I could see him scoring against United as well. I could. Then again, if he blanks, and those that have got double Chelsea, it's a bit like, How did they do against Man United last time? He got 2 assists against Man United last time out. 2 assists. And we're thinking about selling him. Two assists. I don't think I can sell. I don't think I can sell him. Even for Robertson, I don't think I can sell him. I would much rather keep him this week and see how he does. And maybe next week. And bench him if I have to. and him look terrible for 2 game weeks, and then I transfer him out for game week 30, if somebody like Diaz is going to be out for 6 to 8 weeks, that's not anytime soon. I'd rather not have less of a benching headache and benching him next game week if he does terrible against Man United, or, you know, City look terrible in defence without Diaz. I would much rather then sell him on than trying to preempt what City might be like without Diaz, what Cancelo might be like without Diaz. Just bearing in mind that City will have a double game week in game week 36 if they get through the cup, of which you'd expect them to. So you're probably going to want him back then, unless you're going to free hit, which I do have that potential option now. So yes, that's true, Chris. Chelsea were 1-0 down to Luton after 2 minutes midweek, although they did have a different defence. So Harry says, don't see Robbo getting rested with the league being so close. That's also a good shout. Harry, yeah. I mean, that is why I do quite like leaving the money in my bank. To shift Rudiger to Robbo next game week. So, yeah. Akib, who has better long-term fixtures than Wolves? If you think till 32 or 33, only Spurs and Chelsea have better fixtures. Exactly, that's why I'm not getting rid of Kilman or Jimenez. Nim. Van Dijk is due to go up in price tonight. Oof. Didn't need to hear that, buddy. To be fair, I guess that only matters if I'm going... What was that now? That was keeping Rudiger. No, I couldn't get him for... Was that when I had Thiago in? And I went with... Yeah. The thing is, the price predictors are all over the place at the moment, because of the wild cards, and they haven't really come to fruition. I mean, Kulusevski's been going up for the last 3 nights and he hasn't actually gone. Bowen has been going down for the last 2 nights. He hasn't actually gone. So I don't know how accurately we can place on the price prediction sites at the moment, because the wildcarders kind of seem to always mess with them a little bit, and they make them less accurate, because so he's going up on fix, but he's not going up on stats. I don't know if that helps. I mean, what I would... I think Rudiger's planning to go up tonight as well, though, so it's not like I could even put these 2 in my wild card and wait and see if they do go up, to be honest with you. I think that's kind of, in a way, why kind of sticking to my plan is better in terms of having Davies in this spot. It not only gives me 2 game week play, like game or white, not only gives me 2 defenders for game week 30, it also leaves me enough money in that spot if I want to sell Rudiger to go for Van Dijk. And maybe Matip will be back by then as well. Because it just says sickness, and it says that he'll be back by the something of March or whatever it is. So I think if he did go up, then I can see why people are going Van Dijk though. I mean, he's been more attacking than what Trent has been over the last few weeks. Go Trent and Robbo and you save yourself a bit of cash. Keep. Ty Mount is a great shout for this week, but only concern is Mount played League and FA Cup all fixtures with very little rest, so Tuchel may return. I don't really think he's another one that I think will get like 2 games out of the 3. Don't think he'll play all of them. Bring in Livramento for silver. I've got Livramento already in that spot, buddy, but he doesn't play in game week 30. So... Oh, you're asking me whether you should or not. No, you wouldn't be asking that, surely. If you got silver, just keep him. I'm just going with Reece James on the wild card. He's the best Chelsea defender long term, and Chelsea have great fixtures until the end of the season. A little risk with minutes, but I think he plays both. Yeah, I do like James. He's 0.1 more than Rudiger is. Four goals and 5 assists this season. Four goals, 5 assists to Rudiger's 2 goals and 3 assists. So I think for me, because I'm thinking I'll probably go for Robertson next week for Rudiger, I'm not thinking long term with my Chelsea defender this week. I want to see how Chelsea get on in this double before deciding whether I need Chelsea defence for the rest of my season or I need to double up on Chelsea defence for the rest of my season. I'm playing safe, basically. Addy, are you not interested in any Newcastle players? Got Dubravka. Honestly, it's more that I'm struggling to know who to bench now. If I got Willock in, I would have a real headache. Because at the moment I'm playing, possibly stupidly, but I'm playing Rudiger, Trent, Cancelo and Kilman. And then I've got Ramsey, Rafinha and Salah. And then I've got Kane, Jimenez, Brozier. Oh, thank you. New sub. Thank you, Fortune. Welcome to the Nymfam. And so I think I want to pay Kulusevski next game week. So I don't think I'd even be playing, and I want to play Saka next game week. So I'm not even sure I'd end up playing Willock next game week. And then he blanks in 30, so it gives me more of a headache this week, more of a headache next week, and then I'd have to sell him on potentially for 30, so it's not that I'm not interested. I think they're really good shouts. It's just that for my strategy and the fact that I'm trying not to use my free hit in game week 30, it makes more sense to kind of swerve them for now. After 30, I may look at them. Free hit 33, bench boost 36 looks good. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Adam. Samuel, hello. Should I start Weghorst and Jota? Jota and Cancelo, or Cancelo and Weghorst? Oh my word. In my original team, before I wildcarded, I had Weghorst on the bench. Because I was going to take a -4 to get Rudiger in. If I'm going to take a hit for a defender, then I'm kind of hoping that they can potentially keep me a clean sheet. However, he's just the type of player that I think could score past Chelsea. even if I keep Cancelo on my wildcard, I will be playing him. Even ahead of something like Saka against Watford, I think. It just seems mad, but I think... You could give Jota one more week on the bench, potentially, and then make sure that he is actually starting before starting him in the double game week. I think that's really tough. I'd be tempted by Jota and Cancelo. If you're worried about rotation risk, then obviously Weghorst and Cancelo. James says, is James a risky pick? I don't think he is a risky pick. I think he's back now. I think in terms of minutes, though, he may be managed. I don't see 3 straight games from James. It will be like 2 out of the 3 or limited minutes or whatever. But he's still a good enough player to be getting something in those games. So I think... I think he's as good a pick as Rudiger, if not better, potentially, for attacking threat. It's just you're hoping that he gets those attacking threats in the slightly less minutes that I hope Rudiger will get if I buy him. Nuclear, thoughts on this wildcard team? Foster, Ramsdale, Trent, Reece James, Rudiger, Tini, Cancelo, Ramsey, Coutinho, Salah, Rafinha, Fraser, Che Adams, Brozier, Kane. Plan is Coutinho to Kulu in game week 29. It's nice. I like it. Foster's opposed to Dubravka. I'm assuming for a few extra funds. Is that Nuclear? Yeah, I think if I wasn't so fixated on getting an extra Liverpool defender, then I quite like the idea of Coutinho to Kulu next game week. Yeah, I like it. Obviously, if Wolves' defence do anything, you're going to struggle because percentage owned is going to be pretty... So... Akib, in the last 7 game weeks, Trent has got 23 points. Robbo has 50 in the same time. Yep. Adam says, my gut feels there's a Coutinho injury on its way. Ooh, interesting. If I don't go for him, then considering the amount of people that have got him in and captained him, it would be helpful, but I don't wish injury on anyone. What about Huang, says an ass. Yeah, I do like the look of Huang. I talked about him a little earlier. If I have been on Jimenez for a couple of game weeks now. I'm not just getting him in on my wild card. If I was choosing between 2, I would be seriously tempted to go for Huang. Yeah, says what's the bet that Weghorst gets a goal when everyone takes him out? Yeah, exactly what I've been saying all stream, buddy. Mike says I'm sticking with Salah. Boring but reliable. Yeah, to be honest, I'll probably kick myself if I don't do it. Gareth says Coutinho this week and Kulu next. Or Ramsey instead. I'm probably going Ramsey instead, as you can see. The thing is, I don't like the alternative. The only other alternative in that 4.6 position is Gordon's alive for Everton. And I feel like he has a chance of doing well next game week. But then, do I want him this game week? No. Do I want him long term? No. Whereas I think I would like Ramsey long term. Kieran, all about Raf this week. Captain peeps, look at his previous, so close. Yeah, Kieran, apparently this manager is very similar to Bielsa in the fact that he is an attack. So you'd like to think he continues in the same vein that he was doing. But there's always that tiny bit of doubt. Keeb is also on the Salah train for captain. Mike says, could choose between Kane, Coutinho, Raftier, but still sticking with Salah. Yeah, says Cancelo is definitely a keep. Don't sell or bench Cancelo, no way. Nin, bring in a Marty, 3.8 defender, absolute bargain. Yeah, I could for that Livramento spot, couldn't I? Do we rate defence, though? That's the problem. I did keep a clean sheet last game week against Burnley. It was a little ways before that against Liverpool. Did they keep a clean sheet against it? Oh, my word. He's not a bad shout, buddy. Not a bad shout at all. Thank you. Will it stop me having spots further down the line, though? And Leicester play as well, don't they, in 30? And they have a good fixture, if I remember. Brentford. Ooh, nice. Nice. Thank you. I may just do that. I may just do that. There's nobody coming back now, though, for him. Is there anybody who could potentially take his place? Though, because I don't want to be in a situation where I get to 30 and somebody's come in, you know, for him. That's the only thing. So Akib, if you could let me know if there's anyone potentially about to take his spot, if I do put him in, I would be grateful. Malayas, Alonso. I love Alonso. Like, he is amazing. But do I trust that he won't get rotated? Not a chance. Not a chance. I mean, 90, 63, 90, 80, 90, 3 minutes, 16 minutes. That's too much. There's too much going on there for me. Way too much. So I don't think so, Malaya. No, I don't think I would. FPL Booster, how much do you have in Van Dijk? I don't own him, Booster. Oh, thank you. I'm only a couple of likes away now from 60 likes. So if you guys, if there's a couple more people that haven't liked yet that are watching the stream, there's 81 of you, then I would very much appreciate it. As Nucleus says, if you're enjoying the chilled stream. Which Chelsea mid do you prefer the most for this week only? Thoughts on CH, Havertz or Mount? I think Havertz. And Akib says CH has a knock, so yeah. Had the same problem. Would you do Saka to Martinelli? I think I think the problem with Martinelli is Emile Smith-Rowe is there, so there's that potential to get a bit of rotation going on with those two. So that's the only reason why I'd be, you know, potentially not downgrading him. Would you choose Podence or Odegaard? Already got Saka, can't afford Kulusevski. I actually did consider doing this. So here is another one of my wildcard drafts, if it helps you guys. I obviously didn't have a Marty in there, but I'll leave him in, seeing as he's a cheap player for now. But yeah, I did consider doing that. But I got a little bit nervous about Wolves not owning a Wolves player, a defender, in case they suddenly find form again. So I obviously would probably go for a Chelsea defender first before going to Robbo, but that's another thing what I was considering. So I think I would go Odegaard instead of Podence, and I think mostly because just Arsenal's sheer number of fixtures that have to come. Yeah. Okay, it's Tottenham or Chelsea, but you know, WILDCARD has been doing well. You know, he has managed to score against the likes of Man United. So I mean, Podence is uber differential and I like it, but I'm not sure. Surely Sace over Kilman, rotation threat. Kilman is not a rotation threat. He has played every game this season, so I'm not sure where you have rotation threat from, buddy. But yeah, he's not a rotation threat. Sace is definitely more attacking player, but I just would prefer to keep my cash than invest it in Sace. I'm not entirely sure whether I'm using my bench boost yet in Game Week 29. I want to see the form of these players because I have the likes of like Brozier and Jimenez who will have single game weeks, like good single game weeks, but will have single game weeks. So I want to see how they get on this coming game week before deciding whether to pop the bench boost. If I can get away with not using it or I'm not feeling it, then likely not. I would like to keep it. If I have a good game week off of the back of my wild card, I'll be less inclined to use it. If I don't and I feel like I need to gain some rank and everyone's looking decent and I just feel like I can't not take the opportunity, then I will. I think that the short answer is I haven't quite decided. And I think staying flexible at the moment is quite a good thing. Being very locked into a potential time or day to use your chips is quite dangerous at the moment. Oh, bye, Keep. No worries. Talk to you later, buddy. TC, do you think James with Rudiger is a good choice or put the money elsewhere? I think what James and Rudiger allows you to do is it allows you to hop off of one easily when you've decided which one you want to keep. So if you go with James and Rudiger this week and it turns out James is brilliant and you can get away with not having Rudiger, then you can down Rudiger and vice versa. If you feel like you can use the extra money elsewhere now, then I'd just pump with one and even keeping the money in the bank potentially if you feel like it. The other thing is for me, it would give me a bigger benching headache this week. So just consider that, TC. Hi, Mark. Ab says, you are amazing. You just solved my problem with bringing Kulusevski in picture, wildcard active, Havertz and Adams to Kane and Kulusevski next week. Yes, brilliant. Glad I helped. Bude, is Ward Prowse an option just for this week? Then bring in Ruler. Yeah, I think there's nothing wrong with that. I think he's as good a punt as anybody this game week with 2 fixtures. Mount or Ziyech? Mount 2 or 3, Ziyech. I think I prefer Ziyech, but Mount's probably a little less riskier. Let's have a look. Mount got an assist against Tottenham in Game Week 23, and then before that, Game Week 20 against Brighton. Didn't play against Crystal Palace. Ziyech got a knock? He's got a knock, has he? I didn't realise he had a knock. Ooh. Form-wise, if Ziyech didn't have a knock, I'd be going Ziyech. But given that knock, I'd be a bit concerned. Ew, it's not like Havertz has really been playing either. God, there's me saying to everyone, go Havertz. Not like he's been playing either. Maybe Mount is the best option there. However, it's 3.9 and Semedo's injured. Nice. Hoover. Yeah, nicer. I don't know whether Johnny plays there though as well. Jimenez, is he in form? Is he not better to go Huang? Well, I mean, Jimenez hasn't done badly. It's just that he got rested last game week. I mean, he got a goal against Tottenham and an assist against Leicester. He didn't do anything against Arsenal, but, you know. And then he got benched. He only got 9 minutes in last game week, so it's all about, will you gain extra money from Huang? Also, you got to think about percentage owned, because Jimenez will be more owned than Huang. That's less owned than I thought, though, so. I don't know who I'm captaining yet, TC. I'm between Salah and Jimenez. Sar, Sace and Cody says a them. Thoughts on Bowen to Saka? Wow, the chat's so fast. I'm going to have to wrap up soon, though. It's 5:30. Thoughts on Bowen to Saka, Bruno to Rafinha, and Dawson to Rudiger -8. Will bench boost Ramsdale, King, Livramento, and Saka. Thoughts? I don't mind a -8 if you're bench boosting. Dawson, remember, plays in 30, so and so does Bowen, so bear that in mind. Bruno to Rafinha would free up a lot of cash without having to do the other 2 moves. And it would allow you to get Rudiger. But again, you'd be selling a non-game week player in game week 30 for a double game week player this game week. So just bear that in mind. I don't think it's bad if you have a plan to free hit in 30. If you don't, then you're selling 2 game week 30 players there for 1. So yeah. Ben Johnson at 3.9, a shout. Stephen, apparently short term I think he will be, but why can I not remember the guy's name? I had him in my team at the beginning of the season. Soufal has had his surgery now, so he will be back soon. And remember Vardy, everyone was like, oh, he's going to be out for ages because he's got a hernia. And he actually only ended up being out like for a couple of game weeks. Remember that, like at the beginning of the season or the end of last season. So I think it's generally, to get over the hernia is it's usually a lot quicker than it looks. So if it's just for a couple of game weeks, then you could get away with it. But like, as I'm hoping to have this wild card now until the end of the season, I probably would not want to risk it. That's what I was asking, whether Marty is nailed until the end. Well, you know, pretty much nailed, or is somebody likely to come in for him? Nim, with this team, how many would you have in game week 30? If you don't free hit, would I struggle in 30? Okay, buddy. Probably best if I bring the. So this is what my wild card would look like by game week 30. Bearing in mind, this spot could be a Marty now, or it could be Davies, this white spot. So it's, at the moment, without any injuries, we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 players. And I will be selling, most likely selling one of Robertson or Trent, if I go for them next game week, to Teeny for game week 30, or Digne, or because I just have so much money from selling one of those if I want to sell one of those. Otherwise, I'm happy to roll with this 9. I mean, the other thing I could do, if Huang is looking great and I'm feeling the love and Leeds are just still as terrible at the back, then I could sell Brozier to Huang and get an extra player that way, and just have one defender. So 9/10 is what I'm hoping to have, if that helps, buddy. Reece James, Albon, yeah. I'm just nervous, I think, of... It's my defence that I'm most concerned about this wildcard. I'm still not entirely sure. I think that is where holding off at another game week to potentially wildcard may have been better, because I would have got a bit more of a look at whether Reece James is who I want over Rudiger. It's that Azpilicueta coming back. I don't know when Azpilicueta comes back. If he comes back for that midweek fixture, that Thursday fixture, then I could potentially see Reece James getting less minutes in that Thursday fixture. If he's not, then Reece James probably starts those two and then gets the rest when Aspie comes back against Newcastle. But then James gets the rest probably against Newcastle. I just only really see him playing 2 games out of 3, whereas Rudiger plays every game. So, usually plays every game. So... yeah, good point, Nahal. It's more that I want to bench boost down the line with the Amati situation, and I do need him in game week 30, so I need to at least know that he'll be cover 30. But if Fafana will be back soon, then that might sway me. I don't know how soon is soon. If he can get past game week 30, then yeah. Chelsea midfielders, Van. It's only because I'm trying not to free hit in game week 30 that I'm avoiding them. I also don't think they'll be massively owned, so I'm not fearing them, but I do like the upside of going for them if you want to. FPL Dream, would you sacrifice Cancelo for James? I have 0.5 million value tied in him. I'm on a wild card. I can't decide myself whether to do the same. At the moment, it's a no for me. At the moment, I think I'll either go Rudiger or James and keep Cancelo. Cancelo got 2 assists against Man United last time out. Just the thought of selling him and him doing that again, it would hurt so much. Just do Kulo to Coutinho and Ramsey to Gordon. Gordon doesn't play in game week 30, so I'd be another player down. Also, in terms of stats, Coutinho and Ramsey over the last couple of game weeks have pretty much equaled each other. So I think I'm potentially getting too slightly. I mean, it's one Coutinho better player in potentially 2 better players. Theo June says I bought Rudy in already. Yeah, okay. It's all about gut feel. Like, for me, it would be a real benching headache having both of them. So if you feel it would give you a better option and you're happy to bench somebody else, then go for it. A man says Hwang 5.4 versus Crystal Palace and Watford, or Pookie 5.8 versus Brentford and Chelsea. Hwang. Eddie, hi there. Throughout Son and Salah, should I bench first for Willock? My eyes. My eyes. Oh, double game weeks make people do crazy things. Eddie, step away from the computer. Step away. Don't bench either of those. Find somebody else to bench. My word. No. No. If either Son or Salah does anything, your EO will crash to the floor. If they don't do anything, then... But Everton and West Ham... Oh, no, man. No, you have to find somebody else. I'm sorry, I can't support you in this venture. A new subscriber. Thank you, Naya. Thank you. Welcome to the Nymfam. Mark, hopefully I've helped with telling you how many. This shows how many I'd have for Game Week 30. This is the FPL Way at FPL Way. This planner will be live, I think, at the beginning of next week, so make sure you go check them out. And like some of the other planners at the moment, I'm not, I'm just putting this out there. I'm just a big fan of their work, and I know the guys, and so I got a little preview of it. And like a lot of the other planners that are out there currently, they allow you to, you know, do some of the stuff that they don't, which I really like. Dream, I'm on a quite. What do you think? Dubravka, Ramsdale. Yep. White, Rudiger, Trent, James. 8 Nori, Salah, Son, Ramsey and Gordon to rotate. Rafinha, Kane, Broja and Jimenez will free hit 30. Yeah, I think that's good on a free hit. It's just whether you go Cancelo or James or Rudiger, really, those three. Antro, why you got Jimenez? Just because he's playing game week 30? No, because he's actually an alright option at his price point. Also, think of it this way, right? We get to game week 30. Jimenez hopefully plays game week 30. Get to 31. That price point, if we want Aston Villa forwards, Jimenez to Watkins, Jimenez to ASM, that the price point, I always think when you're wildcarding, you want a price point that you can get to other players with. And Jimenez is just that nice middling price point up top. He also, if he's not performing as well and Hwang is doing better, he's also a nice cash cow. You can, I know you're saying, well, why not just do that now? But we don't know that, you know. Jimenez could have got his rest last week and now he's back and absolutely fine and smashing it this week, you know. So I don't think we can just like rule him out just because he had, you know, he didn't do anything against Arsenal, of which he did get a couple of chances. He had a head that Ramsey saved and things like that. And then he got rested in the last match. So just because he hasn't done anything in the last two doesn't mean he can't do anything. Okay, I really have to kind of like get these last few in. Ashish, thanks. How would you use the bench boost then? I think it's going to be difficult to keep a decent bench up to 36. The thing is, in 36 we could have the likes of City and Liverpool and who else is still in the cup? And let me have a quick look at Ben's planner. We have so many big teams in the cup still that if they happen to go through, bear with me a second, guys. Okay, so yeah, if they were so you got Man City, Crystal Palace, Liverpool, who, yeah, I think there's so many big teams that could be still in the cup that would then double in 36, that you'd actually find naturally that you'd end up benching, say you had Robbo and Trent by then, or, you know, 3 Liverpool, you know, say you still got Cancelo by then, you'd naturally find yourself benching good players with a potentially good double game week, of which you wouldn't necessarily be needing to actually work up to a bench boost like we have done in previous seasons. It's just that you'd already have quite a lot of those players already in your team that would double, and you could potentially end up finding yourself, you know, benching those good players and not having a bench boost to use. Hey, look, it's all strategies are different. If you feel that by wildcarding now and getting the best team in to bench boost next game week, of which I think if you were doing that, then Willock is a definite great shout for that sort of vibe, then you gotta go for it. But for me, I think I'm playing a little bit more like, I'd like to have a couple of chips in that back pocket just in case. It's that sort of thing of, if I can get to this rank, so I always do this every season, if I can get to this good rank without using my chips, and then I can pull out the chips and use them and potentially get a bit higher, then it's all like the cherry on top of the cake. It's all like helping you get higher. Hoover differential, does Johnny being back lead that to be more of a scary process? Yeah, I don't know who plays there, whether it will be Hoover or Johnny, so for that I would be a little too nervous to... Gareth says Mount or none at all in terms of Chelsea. Havertz started the last 5 games in the Cup, but yeah, is he more of a Cup player than a Premier League player? Don't know. Gareth Coutinho or Fraser for certainty of starts over any Chelsea. Kulu next week, yeah. Would you go for Havertz or Rafinha for a 1-week punt? I would go for Rafinha because it's not just a 1-week punt. He also plays in game week 30. Exactly, Gareth. Havertz is a punt, Rafinha isn't. I'm free hitting in 30. The draft team is amazing. Plus, I don't have to bring in Wolves on my wild card. That's fair, Nick. Every strategy, you know, is like everyone is team dependent. I will remove Havertz, Rafinha in game week 29, so I'll only have either of them for 1 week. Yeah. I don't know why you would do that, personally. I mean, if you're only going to have them 1 week, then Havertz is the punt. I think if you go Rafinha, you could end up wanting to keep him. So if you already have a plan for game week 30, then not much point. Bude, yes, I think Ward-Prowse is a good shout. Surely say St James with what you have left in the bank, Nim. Gareth, I'm I don't mind potentially going James for Rudiger. That I'm still weighing up. But in terms of saves, I'm happy with Kilman. I've had him for weeks. I had him before he was popular. I've been on this channel banging away about Wolves since about game week, I can't remember. And then everyone jumped on them and they got really terrible. You all weighed them down. But in terms of saves, I'm going to have to spend what exactly to get him? Have I got West Ham up there? I need everyone, not West Ham. I have to pay an extra 0.5 to get him, whereas leaving this 2 million in the bank allows me to get Robertson next week. So that's my plan, Gareth, rather than spending all of my money. It allows me to go Rudiger to Robertson next week and have double Liverpool at the back. Theodosis, is Thiago Silva going to play both games? Apparently he's the second most nailed behind Rudiger and has only 8 points less than him for the season. I didn't realise that there was something wrong with him because the manager ended up saying that he's back now, which I don't know, like, whether he was sick or not. I don't know if that would impact on how many of the games he would play. Nuka says, should I really back Wolves in late risers wildcard team? He didn't. He had any Wolves players and funds were utilised amazingly, so it gives me more confidence going without them. I mean, it's just completely up to you, buddy. I mean, it's all whatever you feel is best. Personally, I think Wolves still look good. They're fighting for top 4. Yeah, I mean, it's what one person's potatoes is another person's tomatoes. You know, if you don't want to go without them, you know, then don't. If you do want to go without them, then do, I guess. Now, Hal, who would you bench? Cancelo or Livramento? Benching King for Son. Yeah, King for Son is a no-brainer. I would probably bench Livramento. Only because well, you'd suspect Livramento to start now that Kyle Walker-Peters is out, but apparently that isn't a serious injury, so I don't know if he'd be back for the second game, which could put Livramento at risk. Personally, I'd probably still start Cancelo. Hwang's form is dreadful in the last 12. I mean, he's been injured. It's a bit harsh. Are you saying before that? Because I mean, I don't know what people mean by dreadful. He's a 5.4 striker. Are you expecting him to be king? I mean, Kane even? I mean, yeah. I mean, for 5.4, he's not doing badly. Would you swap Willock for Kalu? I think it depends on whether you plan to free hit in 30, personally. And whether you want to do any other transfers between now and 30. If you do want to do other transfers between now and 30, then Kulu hopefully is the safer bet and plays in 30. If you don't, then I think Willock is fine. Lee says you can add Willock. Yes, I can, but I don't want to because he doesn't play in 30 and it gives me a benching headache this week. What do I think about Coutinho captain? I'm terrified that I don't own him and that lots of captain him. That's what I think. John says he currently has Coutinho as captain. Hi Nim, I solved the Salah, Son, Willock out and brought in Tielemans in for first sub. Okay. A bit confused by that, buddy. Hey Meg, welcome. Games he's just played. Yeah, I mean, he's still 5.54 though. I mean, yeah, I mean, if he was 5.4 and banging in goals like Messi, we'd all have him, wouldn't we? I mean, it'd be a no-brainer. I mean, yeah, this is Brozier. He's done a bit better, but 6 goals and 2 assists for the season. Hwang's 5 goals. So in terms of goals, he's only 1 behind Brozier. Okay, his assist rate's not as great, but compared to Jimenez, well, yeah, I mean, it's the saving you're weighing up there, isn't it? It's the saving you're weighing up. Who to captain? Who's my captain? I'm between Jimenez and Salah, if that's any help. I haven't decided. Sorry, I know that's not what you guys want to hear, but I think we're still being so undecided whether to get Coutinho in that Kulusevski spot. It's really hard to know who to decide on captaincy. Rafinha or Rudiger for captaincy? I think probably Rafinha. I'm just hoping he's still going to be as attacking as what he has been recently. Top 3 captains this game week. Now that I can get on board with. Salah is definitely up there. Coutinho / Ramsey is up there. Then I would struggle, I think, to say Rafinha or Jimenez. Probably Jimenez. Do you know what it is? Is because I'm not a captain, a defender kind of person. I just don't like doing it because if 2 clean sheets go out the window, 9 times out of the 10, out of 10, you're done. I think if you, I don't see. I'm not sure that Chelsea get 2 clean sheets. I genuinely can see Weghorst scoring against Chelsea, and Norwich is a bit of a kind of, they could easily kind of stick one past, like just get an odd messy goal. So with that, I think unless it was James, I don't know that I'd really be going Rudiger. I am. Do you think it's worth going through 28, 29, 30 without any chip, activated, only free transfers? I think you have to weigh up. So for me, I weighed up how much I thought I'd lose in those game weeks. I knew I was going to have to take a -12 over 3 game weeks. So it would have been -4, -4, -4 for me. -4 this week, -4 next week, -4 game week 30. And I also knew that I would be missing some key players. I would have been a hit for Rudiger this week. I wouldn't have had Brozier. I wouldn't have had Kane. I wouldn't have had Rafinha. I wouldn't have had Ramsey. So for me, when I weighed it up, I felt like I'd lose more points over the 3 game weeks trying to chase with free transfers than I would do if I just wildcarded. So I think getting on a planner like the FPL Way on Monday, or, you know, or just a planner like where you can map out what the next 3 game weeks will look like for you, doing it both ways and then look at it. Okay. Oh, William, new to the channel, been great so far, up there with FPL May and Andy, loving the timing of today's stream too, eases us all into the weekend. Thanks, William. You know, really appreciate it. Please do pop a sub if you're enjoying, and hit the notification bell because that'll tell you when I'm going live next. And yeah, I think so just, yeah, I really appreciate everyone's support, because being a female in this industry it's a little tough, I won't lie to you guys, because yeah, I mean, there's not so many of us. But I really appreciate all the love and support, and everyone seems to really love these streams. And I usually start around the 3:30, 3:45 mark, if you guys would prefer it around the 4 mark, or, you know, stick to more 3:30, 3, you know, whatever's easiest. Just let me know in the comments below. Like, I love to hear from you guys, and all the feedback's very welcome. Eddie told me not to put Son or Salah on the bench for Willock, not free hitting 30, so brought in Tielemans and first sub instead of Willock. Oh, okay, I'm with you. Yeah, I mean, Willock could go mad the next 2 and then you'll hate me, but I just don't see how you bench Son or Salah. I really don't. How about Emmanuel Dennis? I just sold him. I just sold Dennis on my wild card. So Zane, no. And also hi, Bajak here. Welcome. Alright guys, I'm gonna wrap it up there. Thank you all so much for joining. I really appreciate it. Please do pop a like and subscribe if you've enjoyed the content. You guys are amazing. I love you guys, honestly. Welcome to the Nym fam if you joined today, and if you're rewatching, then yeah, you know, welcome if you've hit that sub button whilst rewatching. And I do a team selection video on a Monday, Tuesday, usually a Monday, and then either a deadline stream or a pre-deadline stream on a Friday around the 3 to 4 mark. So do make sure to hit that notification bell, and it'll tell you exactly, you know, when I'm live. So thanks everybody, really appreciate all of the love. Until next time, Nymfria out.